Welcome everybody, this is Bulldog with a raid video for the second straight day. Again, we're going to be getting a Phase 3 solo here eventually. In this case, we're actually going to have a lead-in in Phase 2 that's going to go into Phase 3. We're going to do 30% damage to a pretty generous lead-in here, and could actually do a little bit more. I'll talk about that in just a second. But this is a gas 501st squad, just your traditional General Anakin Skywalker squad that we know can do a lot of damage in Phase 1, can solo Phase 1 and get into Phase 2. This one can do even more damage, and it can be done on auto. So when I ran this team right here, I was actually not expecting this to be a record run for me, but it just kind of turned out perfect. 30% ended up being just the right spot I needed so that I could auto Phase 2 and get one clone down at the very end, but still finish off the phase. So that's really what you want to do in Phase 2 here, is get one clone to basically die, and then trigger 5 sacrifice, which is going to boost all of the stats. So it would have worked a lot better if I didn't do this on auto, because I wouldn't have 5's taunting, and Scion could have been going after some of the other clones when we get gas toppled there, and probably could have had a little bit more leeway there, but it still just worked out just perfect. And then once you get into Phase 3, you can solo the phase on auto completely. Now there are a few things. Kind of a guided auto might work a little bit better. We'll talk about that here in just a second. I do have the mods at the end of this video, by the way. Since I was the one that ran this, I went in and recorded the mods. I didn't necessarily do anything special. I don't even think I have all 60 mods on these guys. I was being lazy. I was not intending to record this video. This was me being lazy. In one of the Sith raids, and it just happened to work out, and I thought I would go ahead and use it for this video. So okay, so now we've got what we wanted out of the lead in here, and we've got 3 clones up plus gas. And what is going to happen is, because of the turn meter overflow changes, every time Traya gets up, all of the sabers are actually going to go first. And because Gas has a 100% counter chance, and he can ignore Foresight, he's going to counter and take out each of those sabers, which works perfect because Traya never gets a turn. Or if things work out perfect, Trey never gets a turn. Now, what can happen sometimes that can mess this up? There are a couple things that could mess that up, and you'll see it does actually happen. Even if Trey gets that isolate out, there's enough room for air here. At least at these relics. These are high relics, either relic 6 or relic 7. They're up there pretty high. That we could complete this with plenty of turns left before enrage. And if Gas gets that isolate on them, once he gets toppled, he's going to cleanse that anyways. So it's okay if we do get that isolate, but you can actually go through the whole run without getting any isolate at all. What can mess it up is 5s can gain turn meter, so I kind of mentioned that. So whenever Gas gets hit, 5s is going to gain turn meter, and then on auto, 5s will attack Traya, and then that's going to give Traya more turn meter, which is going to jump her in front of the saber. So then she will isolate before the saber takes that turn. And if you use it, you don't even have to take it off auto. You can just kind of do a guided auto. When 5s takes the turn, you just have to make sure you're targeting one of the sabers, and then that will work, and that can work really well. This team cannot, I don't want to say it cannot, but at least at the mods and the relics that I've been playing with, if you don't do a lead in from Phase 2 to Phase 3, it's not going to, you can still do a lot of damage on auto. I think I've done like 60 or 70% damage in Phase 3. Again, when I'm just being lazy with the raid, works pretty well. But it doesn't, I don't think you can actually do a full solo if you don't have one of those clones die. On my own personal account, I've got some weaker clones, and they can die off a little. They can actually die off in Phase 3, so I can do a full solo of Phase 3, starting in Phase 3. Starting in Phase 3, because I can get my clones to actually die early, or one of them to trigger that sacrifice early, and then that can go that way. So, but anyways, it works pretty well. This you can, again, leave on auto for the most part. I took it off auto because I wanted to see That was the largest lead-in I'd ever had, was 30%, and it just kind of timed it perfect. So I wanted to see how much damage I could do if I could actually get through all of Phase 4. I come very close. There's about 20% left, I think, of Traya in Phase 4 when I get this done, so I left just a little bit. Ended up with 83 million damage. Could probably do more if the circumstances were just right, so that's not necessarily a cap, but this is one of the better runs I've ever had. But the big thing in Phase 4 is you just have to make sure you're assigning, you're using that Unbreakable Will, assigning that appropriately so that you don't get somebody is would be gas. You don't get gas annihilated, and then that's obviously going to just cripple your run at the end there. But other than that, you can basically leave it on auto. Make sure Rex doesn't use his Rex late on one of the sides, or waste it on one of them or something like that. But it can be done mostly on auto as well. I did take it off auto, but it still worked very well here. So anyways, again, mods are at the end. I know you guys always want to see that I do have those this time, but it's definitely not mod dependent. I honestly don't even know what mods are on here. I did go back and record them, but it's not anything that's super special, or not arena caliber mods or anything like that, I don't think. So thanks a lot, guys. I will just put music on once again, because I think we still got about 8 minutes or so left in this video, but we'll let it run. Thank you guys for tuning in. I love you as always. You all have a great night.